All right, folks. Hey, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon. Great to have all of us back inside our live trading room. Great to see Steve, Michael, Dave, Leda, Gillis, all of our students and members alike back inside our live trading room. I see, as well as them, I see also Kevin and Ron. Who else we got here? Kath, always great to see. Pretty much every day we see Kathleen and Jim. Great to see Jim S. Kerry, as always, who locked up a great trade earlier. Actually, a bunch of us locked up a bunch of great trades earlier today. So whether you're inside our live trading room or back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., popping up lower left right there at Cyber Trading U. If you have not yet followed or subscribed to any of our social media streams or platforms alike, specifically though, we host like pretty much all of our education, all of our good stuff on YouTube. So make sure to follow and subscribe right to our YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, July 9th. A quick shout out to my dad here, as if he's listening at least, but no. Henry, happy birthday to my dad this July 9th. Already spoke to him, sent him the early text. He gets up early in the morning, sent him like a 5:30 text, make sure I was first to the punch, beat my sister to it, of course. So great to be a part of that. So now with that in mind, EVOK to begin here. This was a great trade from pre-market this morning, continued to be a decent mover. The issue is on this stock, this is a low float trade, real low float stock, like 1 million, 2 million share float. And I told all of our students this at least earlier today. I am specifically familiar with this trade because I remember this like the back of my hand back in like 2016. I forgot the timeline, 2016 or 2017, just within this area. I was with a close friend of mine, like trading together. We had combined our funds and created a trading account together. This was a much greener Josh Levitan back in the day, but we ended up jumping into this EVOK stock, I remember. And the funny thing is that the news that we had jumped in on this stock for, and it wasn't a good trade. It was like some crap pharma stock that pulled back. It was like at lows here. This really wasn't some good trade. But the story about this is that we were focused on EVOK, and we were calling it back out inside our live trading room back in 2016, 2017, because of this drug called Gimulti, Gimolti, Gimulti. Now, that's the reason why the stock is popping today, allegedly. So there's more news with this drug, like 9 years later? So this company is some no-name piece of garbage pharma stock. I apologize if you know someone that works for them, but it's just to say, you could tell the strength of a company as it reflects within the stock price, right? So this has been a garbage trade forever now. And, I don't know if they've gotten full FDA approval or whatever, but whatever news came out with their Gimulti drug, it has to do with diabetes. It's a diabetes-based, drug, but led to a big pop. And thankfully, it's led to higher lows. Thankfully, this has been making higher lows, at least even on these nasty drops here. I wouldn't have expected it, especially after it broke below $8 at this point. I was telling Steve and Scott and Kathleen and Margaret, Wendy, great to always see her as well, and all of our students just before, if this can't flip this 8 resistance into a support over time, I'm done with it. And I still stand by that. I'm not as jumpy or interested to put this back on our watch list, to jump in right now. You don't want to keep moving the goalposts, right? I don't mind taking a trade from a higher price level if there's good reason to. By moving the goalposts, I mean, well, maybe it's going to bounce from here. If it breaks lower, maybe it's going to bounce from 6 like it did early in pre-market, or maybe it's going to be 5. Like, the more time we keep moving goalposts, there's other trades that are moving without us, in that upward direction at least. So EVOK, fun while it lasted. Maybe you'll come back to it if it makes some Hail Mary pop during this meeting. Would have no problem like revisiting it there. Let's go over at least on the corner right. You see on the top right of my screen here for Wendy, Scott, Prem Kumar, Leda, Wendy, all of us otherwise. Wendy, I'm seeing your name a few times there. But everyone there, top right, do you see where my cursor is? My position manager on the top right of my platform. You should see it there, right? There we go. Wendy. No, I'm teasing. Who else we got at least? Shout out some other names at least joining us this afternoon. Yehuda, Tim, Mike P. You got Grant as always, Doug, Ishan. You got you got Neil, Chuck V, great to see, and Nabil and Joyce. All right, cool. So we'll go over a couple of the trades that I'm in right now. Plug, Fausto had called this one out earlier from the morning, really off of like 155, 160. I was focused on a couple other trades that we were doing well on at the time, EVOK and others. But listen, we had called this out early, and a bunch of us did pretty well on this trade. it's not the fastest thing, the shiny object in the room. And I always tell you, you don't need to trade the shiny object in the room, but to come back towards the other side of the other side of the spectrum, the other side of the coin there, pretty much, this is like watching the grass grow, watching the paint dry, isn't it? So, is it possible this could pop higher? Yeah. Um, I want there to be other trades though that move a little bit faster than this heading into this afternoon, and hopefully we scan for more in just a moment here. Now Rigetti RGTI, I missed my real number. I wanted to get this off of 13 to 1307. I saw it a little higher. I said, you know what, good enough. I started to build a position on it. I may look to average into it over time. But we've been waiting on this, right? Unless there's some bad news that comes out on Rigetti over the next few days, which obviously subject to change. But we've been waiting on not just the breakout over 13 from the end of last week, but it was more so the flippening of that into a support. So I've been waiting on this, quite frankly, and it actually dropped much lower below 13 at first. We were calling it out as it was pulling into it, but I kind of looked away after a while, and that's where it ended up already beginning to bounce from this point without me. And I had jumped in, as you could see, off 13.19. That's my current price. So, so far so good. So far so good. And I don't mind putting this on our side list at least. Maybe we put this on our main list by the end of it all. Not up or down a whole lot percentage wise, at least. So hopefully we find others that are, but yeah. Soon also swing trade from yesterday. Great entry off of 1245, 1250 area. Thank goodness that ended up holding pretty nicely here today. I was on the brink of just closing out, just scrapping it, but otherwise it bounced back up afterwards. So we live to see another few hours, couple hours perhaps, if not another day. Now, really the thing is on this trade though, just as far as the swing goes, this needs to hold over 1270. We had great support at 1270. It was back from the end of last year into this year and so forth. So, support became resistance here at this point going into mid-May. Hopefully it doesn't continue to be resistance coming up at this point. It's holding over it, obviously, this afternoon. So far, so good. I just wanted to update you on a couple positions that you may see there on the top right of our screen. And we always show that just in case if you don't happen to see it every now and then, just it's there. All right, so let's go from top to bottom. We did pretty well, though, on some other trades, not even just that EVOK stock, but SUGP, more from the morning here, early after the market opened up, shot up, got halted a couple times there. But that's the danger with these low float trades. This is low float also, about 4 million shares, 3.99. But it's trading 184 milli today. Something's broken there, right? Either something's broken with the system and this stock just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, which really doesn't happen as frequent, right? Not every trade's going to be that BMNR that ended up running up to 100 and God knows what. And look at it today. Obviously, look at BMNR today. You knew eventually the music was going to stop here in this game of musical chairs. So going back to SUGP, it's a low float stock. It's not a surprise this kind of peeled back here. The only issue is that it peeled back a little bit sooner than you'd think in terms of time, maybe around 10:30, right? 10:15, 10:30. Did a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker, but that happens every now and then. Oh shit! Look at this. What the hell happened here? ANPA. Oh my God! What? Let's see. Ron wrote this just before. Oh, that's right, Ron. Yeah. So, okay, that's the one that we said. I think it was the IPO, right, Ron? One of our silver students, access to our phase 2 classes at least there, and he said ANPA went vertical, but the spread is a deal breaker. So he point blank said it to us. He knew, and he was warning others. So that's what I love in a call out, right? It's kind of just show and tell, right, Ron? And we were saying, yeah, it's an IPO from yesterday, I guess, made some crazy pop, and then it ended up running today. And well, you don't want to be on the top of the roller coaster looking down. I can give you 1,000 different analogies. We can cut the pie 1,000 different ways, but this thing is done. DEA dead. DEAD dead. I was thinking DOA, Ron. I think someone said DOA in the chat earlier. So with that said, let's keep it moving though. BMGL, it's kind of building higher lows at least. This whole afternoon so far, whole morning, whole afternoon, kind of building higher lows. It's got a good order book too. So, it's kind of teasing us a little bit, isn't it? I'll come back to it if we need to. We'll keep it moving though. You get a bunch of crap that looks like this though. You really don't want to trade stocks that are not to say too low float. This egg trade, I don't even think it shows a number there. 000. That's got to be whacked out. Something's messed up there. Let's see the float on this stock egg. Got a little time here to kill. Benzinga Pro, 8.2 million. That's the float that they give. Either way, it's still pretty tiny. So that's where you jump to the daily chart. How often does this stock, which I guess is also some new IPO that came out last month, but how often does it trade this much volume on a day to day? Maybe it did it back on the third, but prior to that, nothing. Really, not anything at all. So that's how you could just kind of look to avoid certain trades. I don't care if this goes up without me because I care a lot more about being in it on the way down. And you know that's going to happen sooner than later. All right. We keep it moving, though, like I'd said, sober, like Fausto said, not like the alcohol right from this morning, but higher lows, still kind of doing the same thing as like that other trade, BMGL, teasing a little bit. I'll come back to it if we need to. Oh, you know what? I got to jack up my volume filter here. I knew that was light. There we go. I was running into some like low volume crap there. Not even that egg trade, but others. But let's see what else we have. Game. This was a nice little pop from earlier today. It was also a good mover from yesterday. So continuing into this morning, did this game trade pop pretty much right at the market open. Then even on this nasty crash, at least after 10:30 in the morning, it started to build back up for your like second wind type of move. Gets that second wind, that second like burst of energy. And that's all it is though, second wind. So there's no third. Ended up making lower highs. So done with that trade. All right, KZIA, Grove. There's our plug. Watching the grass grow trade right there. Jasper, is this AI company? I think Jasper is an AI, not this company at least. But yeah, this thing's been in the dump for a little while though, right? You could see back in the beginning of last year had a great run, but then came back down over time, and then a massive drop in gap, and then a second massive drop in gap here too. Don't discount this one. This one dropped about 50%, right? If not even more. So it looks like it's trying to do a little something this afternoon. I don't mind like putting this stock on our watch list at least. Jasper, JSPR. It's probably some low float stock, but I feel like with this chart, might have some good orders out there. Yeah, a bit of a spread. It needs to fill in even further here, but active chart, good afternoon move. So, all right, GNS, this stock I think that we're also kind of familiar with here too over the years. Was it back last year? Did this pop? No, 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 no. I think it was even this back in like 2023. This thing ran and then it dropped. It was a reverse stock split afterwards because this wasn't 7 or 10 or 20 bucks a share back then. It was like $1, $2 per share back then. So Genius Group, it's kind of at the highs, just a little flat for our liking right now, like too flat. I like it at the highs, just making at least a higher low and then eventually a higher high, or yeah, we don't want it to be that flat. That's a buyout right there, VRNA. AES. We're going to put this on our list now at this point. Who was I with earlier? What was it? Tim, I think, earlier? Was it Tim? Or was it maybe Russell, one of our students in coaching just earlier? Talking about this, and it was like kind of buy the rumor, sell the news type deal, potential takeover, I think, for this company. And the issue on this trade was that we had this big iceberg order at 1310 just blocking it. It's made a tough move to get back up to this price so far, but thankfully it led to a good reward. Broke over 1310, good for about 20, 25 cents nearly. Hopefully more, right? You want to see even further from this point. And definitely you got to make sure that 1310 cleanly flips into support. But yeah, I'll add this trade. This AES doesn't hurt. What else we got here in the meantime, folks? We got Ron, Joyce, Nabil, Glenn, Leda, Doug, Joe, Lee, all of our students here inside our live trading room. If there's anything else that you see, let me know. And as well as you on social media as well. Hollow moving up pretty nicely. Order book not terrible. You got a big seller though here, right off the high of the day, right off the HOD, right at 617 there. I'm probably going to do second round across this gainer side before we wrap up. So, if there's anything that I missed or just kind of skimmed through or overlooked, you felt, type it in the chat. A couple of trades I'm intentively looking to come back to by the end of this meeting. I'm not fully sold on just yet. They're kind of maybes. Run at the high of the day, energy company. So doing pretty good here. And this is a reminder to myself. I got to Got to reach out to my buddy Matt, trying to meet up with him in Tampa later on today. He works for Sunrun. So there we go. This is an interesting gap, though. Look at these gaps. It's basically filled this one at this point, back from the end of last week, from maybe Monday this week. This one was, but interesting gaps, recovered pretty nicely. So we'll see if this looks to try and at least break higher before the end of the day today. Make a move maybe up to 11. We'll add it. We got Run. What other energy stock trades do we have? We got SEDG up 5%, Enphase, ENPH. All of them are doing pretty good. Run's up the most, and then maybe Bloom, BE. This one's more flat now, though. I don't like this here at this point. Had a good morning, Bloom. But Run, and then which one was up more? I guess they're kind of both up the same amount, like 4.8, 4.7. I'll add them both. We'll go Run, SEDG, EMPH. Just those solar trades all doing pretty nice here so far. Anything else here, folks, across the gainer side? We got HIMS, HIMZ, which means the equity's up a decent amount. HIMS up nearly 5% also. Great trend. I could add it. Let's see what else we got as far as name brands go, at least. So AMD make a small bounce earlier. It's not really worth the time at this point. Coinbase pretty strong. There's a chance for that. To pop much higher. I know Bitcoin and iBit collectively looking to break higher and up above 110,000. Robinhood not really doing much right now today, so we'll pass on that there. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list though, folks. If anything else looks good across the board on the gainer side, you let me know. But well, you wonder how much lower a stock could go, right? We talked about this yesterday. The stock PHH was down 92% about 24 hours ago yesterday. And, I'd asked our students, I'm like, how much lower could this go? How much lower could this drop? Down to zero, right? Yeah, down another 62% today, at least, that's for sure. So just a show and tell type thing right there. Just want to at least mention, you don't want to just assume it's going to bounce back up, just because it's down so much. It can keep dropping. It can keep going to zero. This BMNR is not going to go to zero, I don't think. But for as much as this thing ran up just from the end of last week or the beginning of this past week, I should say, there's a good chance it could fill the gap, go back down all the way down towards 34, 33, if not lower. Maybe imagine if it fills this gap here. That would be nuts. But I feel like there's a shot it could look to at least fill this gap on the daily and then maybe bounce. But you knew eventually that was going to happen. Moved up over 1,000% in just one day. So no surprise it's down like 42, 45%, whatever this afternoon. All right, we'll keep it moving here, folks. What else we got here? WFF. Oh, you know what? Do I have to filter this out too? Yeah, I got to do that also. All right, let's see. Anything else looking good across the loser side? Any shorts maybe that we could work with? Quite frankly, I don't really see like familiar names that are, shortable or worth the time really. This is an ETF here, LABD. Not a whole lot happening on that one. Mobileye. Oh, okay. We might got one here. We might have one. This one's easy to borrow, down over 7% at the lows. It's kind of on the brink of breaking a little support here, just right off the lows from the end of last month. Little gap to fill there here too. I don't know how much it's going to drop over time, but you know what? As like a little day trade short, I'll add it. MBLY. All right, folks. You know what? I'll go round two across the gainer side here. Anything else that we may have missed or just said we'd come back to? EVOK. I am more interested in seeing this at least get back over 8. So if it does that, great. We'll focus on it. If it doesn't, then my attention is elsewhere. And I say that because, listen, been there, done that, right? For as much as I warn you about not being there on the top of the roller coaster looking down, I have been on the top of the roller coaster looking down. And I hate roller coasters. So, that's where I tell you at least, these types of stocks here are very boom or bust, and it's going to happen to Evoke at some time. So, I'm not going to put this on our list yet. If it pops over 8 and I'm seeing it, I'll mention it, shout it out to our students. All right. Did we put plug back on our list? So flat, so slow. If you want me to like really put this on our list at this point, it'll be the last stock on there. But maybe there's a chance it can make a pop up to 2. All right. Anything else, folks? Looking good. We got Jasper. We got the AES. We got those energy stocks, Run, SEDG, EMPH, etc. All right. Last call, folks. Roberto, Ron, Leda, Margaret, Grant, Bill, and everyone else here inside our live trading room. Let me know if anything else I'd missed. I'll show you my scanner from Benzinga. And then also I'll show you, how about this? I'm going to show you a scan from TradingView. If you're on social media, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, we're going to post this specifically on our YouTube account. So stay tuned. Within the next week, I'm going to try and make it pretty and fancy for you. You know what I mean? Got to edit it, chop it up. But I'm making a day trading scanner using TradingView. So if you're familiar with TradingView, they're incredible as well. They're as good as Benzinga, I'd say. But otherwise, we love all sorts of scanning as long as it's real time, right? So, we have videos on Benzinga. We're going to post a video soon enough on TradingView. So stay tuned for that on the YouTubes. Let's see. AHG from my Benzinga scan, though. Not a whole lot that I see that I'm like jumping out of my seat for right away. A lot of no-name stocks. Like when I'm getting charts looking like this. I think that's my cue, folks. I think that's my signal to wrap up. What do we got from Lumo on joining us on YouTube this afternoon? Great to see. Not catching that actually late there, so that's good. Is the FOMC done? Well, the minutes meeting you're referring to, right? The FOMC minutes meeting. So yeah, I believe that's done. That finished up, I think, at 2 o'clock, right? Gave all those remarks at 2 o'clock at least. So let's see. Oh, you know what I got to do? 1 second. Sorry. Do this here. Make it your first to read. There we go. Yeah, I got all these headlines. So coming out at like 201, 202, 202, 203. So it finished up at this point. I'll show you the market, though, at least otherwise. And I got the literacy level of a fourth grader. So I'll tell you what, I'm not going to read all this for you. I can barely say my own words. So that's where I'll tell you, hey, otherwise, how did the market react? That's what we care about here. Little move up to start, not a whole lot to it. Now there might be more to it coming up heading into the next 75 or 60 minutes here before we finish up. So, hey, if you're joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., just joining us on social, just follow us once more at Cyber Trading U. We're always live each and every morning, each and every afternoon. We got live podcasts each and every week. Open house webinar tomorrow, led by a 36+ year pro, Fausto Pugliese. And then, otherwise, we actually got a huge event coming up in 2 weeks' time. We got our big Cyber Expo event. So certainly make sure to register for that if you have not yet had the chance to do so. Otherwise, we look forward to having you join us inside our live trading room down the line. Roberto here in our room saying soon approaching that iceberg order at 13. Yeah, it's trying to. That's actually over it now as we're talking. You know what? Did I put this on our main special list just yet? No. And I'll tell you, it's not up more than 5%. So I don't like putting stocks on our watch list that aren't up that much because typically they don't give as much opportunity heading into the close. It's a great swing trade. I'm in it literally right now as we're talking. So I'm trying to even show you here, like just because old Josh is in it, I'm not going to like put it on the main special list. It's a great stock. And if anyone's in it right now, I suggest for you to focus on the trend because that's as simple as it gets in terms of, what to anticipate going forward on this move. I told you all about my thoughts on this stock. So as long as I'm still in, I feel pretty good about it. Held over our 1270 level pretty nicely just before Roberto. So if it pushes up a little bit higher here before the end of the day, no one happier about that than me, I feel. But I'll tell you, we got a decent list to work with, though, for the meantime. Even that plug trade technically is an energy stock. So alongside Run, SEDG, EMPH, actually plug technically is a energy solar type of, whatnot company, too. But, hey, folks, I'll be back on myself. I'll be taking all of our students into the close here. I'll be back on in just about 10 minutes, and we'll go from there. Talk to you soon here, folks.